Welcome to the Spare Parts Racing Podcast, your podcast for all things motorsports. With your hosts, Sean Chavarella, Stephen Clary, and Taylor Moore.
Hear that music?
Okay, so Taylor, how does it feel to have the greatest spot to watch an F1 race?
Glorious.
Right?
It was.
You had the
glorious.
best spot.
I definitely had the best spot. I mean, not the best spot to like not be on TV and like every shot of the hairpin. But it was fantastic. I was actually like super close to the cars as they were coming around, so it was like really cool to be like that up close and personal. Because last year I was very far away. So it was really cool. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, because you were like what, in the hairpin, just I guess on the exit,
in the center,
in the center of the hairpin, on the exit, watching them come through the hairpin and then go down the straight. So you must have had a great shot of that like McLaren fight before that was all went down.
Yes, yeah, because because Lando was coming up to, I think it was, he was coming up to Piastri, just coming out of the hairpin, right, like along the back straight there. So that was kind of really interesting to see, and I could just like, you could see almost the like intensity of the battle going in, and I'm like, in my head I was saying, this is not going to end well.
And then like what, 20 seconds later on the radio?
Oh no, I didn't have a radio.
Oh.
So I'm watching this like, this is not going to be good, and all I can see about 20 seconds later is every McLaren fan in the grandstand just, oh, come on, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. And then some of them got up and left.
That's amazing.
It was like towards the end of the race,
yes.
And they were probably making their way to like one of the like designated entry points for like to run on the track at the end. But yeah, it was really funny. And then like Piastri comes around after the incident happens, and they're all like, what was that? I'm like, this was Lando's fault. I don't know why you're booing this guy.
Exactly. I mean, did you also see the video in the crowd of people fighting in the crowd?
No, people were fighting in the crowd?
Yeah, that came up today apparently. Like, yeah, a bunch of people were fighting in the crowd.
Wasn't it a Red Bull? Hang on, I sent it to you earlier. Where is it?
Yeah, you sent it, I think, on Instagram to me. Yeah, and like guy is like going to town on one guy. There is a guy who's like back is to it, who like is getting like bumped against. He's like, nope, not getting involved. I'm not getting involved. But
wow, where was this? Like in one of the grandstands?
One of the grandstands.
Yeah.
The Red Bull fan attacking. I'm trying to see. It's a guy in a Red Bull shirt.
Wow.
Can't see who he's going after. But everybody's just like getting up and leaving, just not trying to stop the fight. One guy just keeps sitting there.
Assuming he is in a Adidas black with like teal striped shirt, I'm gonna guess it was a Mercedes fan.
No. So it starts with a Red Bull guy beating up some guy. Then like after a bunch of people move and fall over, it's a Ferrari fan and a Mercedes fan fighting each other for some reason.
And we're sure
Red Bull guys out.
Weird, a choice, but okay.
We're sure Jos Verstappen wasn't in the stands at all.
Yeah, if it is Jos, he's slimmed down quite a bit.
Yeah, well, he has a tendency to beat people. Anyway,
wow, no, I did not hear about that. Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome to Spare Parts Racing. I'm your host Sean.
I'm Steven.
And I'm Taylor.
And yes, this week we do have a lot to talk about. We have Canadian Grand Prix, we have Le Mans, we have NASCAR at Mexico, and Indycar at St. Louis. All had very good weekends. You missed us last week, Taylor, because you were obviously in Montreal. But we kind of, we were predicting this was going to be a pretty good weekend, Steven, and it definitely lived up to that.
It was a very fun weekend for many, many reasons. I'm trying to think, what was your favorite race of the weekend? Because NASCAR, I think, comes last just due to the domination by SVG.
See, here's a question though. How do you rate? Do you go by the on-track action? Do you go by the drama? Do you go by the memes? Or by the feel goods? If it's by the feel goods, I got to give it to Le Mans. If it's by drama and memes, it has to be Montreal.
Yep.
And
on-track action
Montreal.
St. Louis.
Actually, yeah, St. Louis is pretty good too. Yeah.
I'd put the Indy above F1 this week for on-track action.
I will disagree with that, but we'll
That's
get
fair.
back to that when we talk
Consistent
about
on track.
Yeah, fair. Because I was gonna say when it comes to like our weekends, I don't think they pale in comparison to Taylor actually at Montreal. So let's get your breakdown. I want your weekend being there, marshalling again, having the best seat in the house on race day.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I gotta start like day one.
Friday.
You know, our first day marshalling on Friday. I was at turn 3 again this year, which like for whatever reason looked so different this year compared to last year, and maybe it's because I was like, I already had been there before. So here's the thing. On Friday I was designated to do the light panel, so I was pushing buttons all day. And so I see a Ferrari spin, right? I didn't catch the number, and then I just saw the red helmet and I was like, oh shit. Really?
Right,
and then
right in front of you,
who?
your fucking crush bins it.
Yeah, no, my crush bins it, and it was a hard bin. Like, it was not a light tap. It was significant. Do you want to guess who was across track in that Marshall hole, right where Charles Leclerc spun?
Who?
Peter.
Oh, Peter was right there?
Yep. So he's, they get the signal or whatever to respond. Josh was also cross track, so he's running with a fire extinguisher, and they both intervene. And I'm like, man, like, you get all the good stuff. Like, anyway, I may or may not have carbon fiber from his vehicle. May or may not. Cannot confirm nor deny.
That is the most stalkerish thing I have ever heard. You need to frame it. You need to put it in a frame with little pieces, and like I don't know, maybe like
I've got plans.
Whenever you find like a lock of his hair or something, then you snip off it or something like that. Get that in there as well.
It gets better.
Okay.
It gets better. So my corner captain, Steve, which you've met, Sean,
yeah.
He was like, is anybody a Leclerc fan? So I'm like, yeah, I'm a Leclerc fan. He's like, you're not going to see him for the rest of the afternoon because this is FP1, right? I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, he's not coming out. 5 minutes later, guess who comes walking right behind our Marshall post on his way back from the paddock? Charles Leclerc. I breathed the same air as this man for 5 seconds. We shared oxygen space. I was dying. He walked by. I turned to everybody and I like silently screamed like, like I cannot believe he was a foot away from me.
That's a missed opportunity, don't you think, Steven?
Oh, 100%.
Like if he's walking behind, no. If he's walking behind you, Steven, what are you doing?
If he's walking behind, I don't know.
No, you go. Good job, Charles. And give a slap on the ass. You could have got the ass slap,
that's fair.
Taylor.
Well, we had one of the marshals I was working with was actually from Mexico, so he like said something. Anyway, he said something in French to him. Like I think he just asked if he was okay, and like Charles responded with, "Yeah, I'm good." And I was like, "Oh, I heard him speak, like in the flesh." Anyway, that was my fangirl moment. That was probably like my second highlight of the weekend because obviously being in the center of the hairpin on race day, there's not a better seat in the house.
Honestly,
really.
when I heard you were there, I'm like, no way. Like that's sick.
It was so much fun. It really was. It was cool, but like the fun thing about it too is like you basically when you're marshalling you're supposed to be watching everything, right? So when you're standing in the middle you're like doing a 360 every time these cars come around. Yeah, but it was super fun. And honestly I will say like F1 Academy
sucks. Oh,
it was great racing.
They wrecked so much.
I know, but it was so fun.
I say that the rejoining. Yeah, I guess it's not really racing. The rejoining.
I think there was about 3 wrecks in the hairpin on Sunday. Yep. In both
I was
races,
waving the yellow, and Paige was holding the safety car forward. But But yeah, it was really fun. Saturday was on the back straight, so that was actually, it was kind of cool to see, like, you know, kind of qualifying and, you know, how the blues work and all of that when they're like slowing down to let the faster cars go by when they're on a fast lap. So that was kind of cool to see. But yeah, overall, like, being at F1 and marshalling and like being a part of the race is so cool. Highly recommend.
Now, I'm disappointed you didn't get one bit of memorabilia, I will say, from this race. It was right around you, right by the hairpin. How come you didn't get
please do not say
the half of the groundhog?
That happened right in front of Steve's corner, by the way. That's where he was. And they were covered in debris.
Nice.
Not groundhog. Not groundhog. They were covered in carbon fiber because it, like, I guess clipped the wing or whatever, and all they saw was carbon fiber. And the lump that was in the middle of the track.
And it just sat there. And like it was showed on camera multiple times. Like, guys, you wanna get a little shovel out there?
Oh wait, I also have to tell you this story. I'm sorry. I have to go back to Friday because this is gonna like kill you.
Groundhog get hit?
A groundhog did not get hit, but we had a seagull whose wing got clipped by a Porsche Cup car. In 3. And it was just like, you know, hanging out cross track. And anyway, 2.5 calls in that the seagull is dead and like on the track. So this was during the red flag when they were still cleaning up Leclerc's car. So control tells us at 3 to send somebody with a shovel to like get rid of the seagull that's on the track. So we sent Josh.
Oh God.
I don't think I will ever witness anything funnier than Josh chasing after a seagull that was in fact not dead and gets up and runs away from him. So if there was anybody watching at 2.5 in like a grandstand, like all they would see is this guy carrying a shovel.
Chasing a seagull with a shovel.
Yeah.
That
can't fly away.
To murder it.
Oh my God, that is absolutely hilarious.
So funny. I was so sad that was not a TV moment. Like if there was a TV moment, it should have been that.
So like, I love the idea also of like I saw I think a post or tweet of this. It's like, turn whatever, groundhog on track. Turn whatever, debris now on track. Is that how those calls go?
Pretty much. So we have a surface flag for a smushed groundhog. Everyone says that they want to get, you know how in Australia they have the kangaroo flag?
Yep. On Bathurst?
We want, yeah, Montreal, like a lot of the marshals are like, can we please get a marmot flag? Like, because they call them marmots, right? So it's all like, the marmot. So they want like a marmot flag.
Jesus.
That we could put out instead of a debris, but it was I
saw one video.
It
was in one of the Porsche races that the groundhog just like slowly like looking. He sees a gap. He darts, just destroyed immediately. It's like oh.
I think there was like five overall this weekend that lost their lives.
Jeez.
These poor groundhogs terrorized for 1 week of the year.
They come back stronger
for
every year.
51 weeks. I know they do. There was a lot. Like we saw a lot more. I don't think I saw one last year, but this year I saw like them everywhere.
Well, last year also
so they were busy in the off
so,
season.
Maybe.
That's true. It was horrible.
So next year there's gonna be even more, and we'll try to have no one get covered in groundhog debris.
Yeah.
But for the race itself, I thought it was a good race.
The race itself.
Like, you had the top 5 guys all within less than a second of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was
tight a good fight.
racing. Yeah. It was.
It was tight racing. And
strategy played a big part in it, too, of guys making the right call.
Oh, yeah. And, like, Ferrari...
I wasn't going to say it. Wasn't going to say it.
Let me tell you. When I saw that Charles pit, and I was like, okay, he's going to pit for, like, maybe softer tires or something. And they put the hards back on. I'm like, why? Why wouldn't they just leave him out there then? What are you doing? The tire degradation wasn't even that bad when they pit him. I was so mad. Anyway, didn't work out in our favor.
You could have just like thrown a mysterious red flag and just threw guys off.
I didn't have flags. I was just vibing.
They already knew.
Yeah,
They
that's
knew
fair.
what would happen.
They knew. It's okay. It's okay. Kimi Antonelli. I was happy for him.
Honestly, yeah, that was pretty good to see him get his first podium. He's only with a third youngest podium winner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Third youngest.
What is it? What's the graphic they put up? It was hilarious. It was he joins exclusive company Max Verstappen. Okay, that makes sense. And Lance Stroll. One of
Okay,
these
that's
things is
another-
not like the other one.
Okay, I think we really like
Okay.
Lance Stroll. I think was very good. I literally think he has just been broken over the years.
Well,
He
so we
is-
had the
okay,
conversation.
And this is the thing. This is the thing, right? Like, and this is something that like Peter and I were talking about a lot over the weekend. It like to hear the crowd boo Lance as he went by was so sad.
At his home
Because
race. In his
at
own
his home race,
grandstand.
His own grandstand was doing it. And, you're just like, when you think back at it, right? And like, Peter made the point, there's only 2 drivers who have ever skipped F2. And that's Max and Lance. He is not a bad driver. He has had bad luck in the cars that he has been in, but he's still been pretty successful. And I think it's really, really sad the way that the fans have been treating him, especially in Canada. I was super disappointed, to be honest, to hear all of the booing that was happening.
Yeah. I do have a Lance Stroll, like, what if for his career.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing. All the best drivers are also dicks, right? Like, on the track. Like, they give no space. They're absolute assholes.
Yep.
Right.
People forget Lance was that back in
Mm-hmm.
F3. And then he actually got a race suspension because he drove guys so hard. I'm 90% sure that broke his psyche. And
Or
he
ruined
came
what made him good.
came into F1, but I think it made him from a great driver to he's a middle of the pack driver. He is a Bottas. He is a Hulkenberg. He's guys that fill seats, are a part of the grid, will be there for years, but they'll never do anything. They'll have good F1 careers, but they won't have great stats.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame for Lance that I think he's definitely lost the love of the sport, and I think the sport definitely has lost its love for him.
I don't know though, because Ocon came out and he was saying, and I think it was actually in the press conferences on media day, on the Thursday, he said, it's really sad to see the treatment that Lance gets because he is by and large one of the most passionate drivers on the grid today. Even still, he is one of the most passionate drivers in that group. So he said he just doesn't deserve the flack that he gets because he still has the love there. The fans, I think, are the ones that have abandoned him, basically. They're saying, you know what, you're not winning, I'm out.
No, I think that's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. It's sad and it's disappointing.
It is.
His career overall is going to be very interesting whenever it's done, whether it's, say, end of this season and he goes to endurance, either IMSA or WEC, or if it's another 5 years in F1, whatever it is, it'll be fascinating to look back on from, what was it, pole in Germany in 2020 or 2019, the podium in Azerbaijan, these highlight moments for that would if Kimi Antonelli he's a bit of a bad example. If Ollie Behrman did that at some point this season, put the Haas on a podium, it'd be oh, this kid's gonna be amazing. And I think Stroll doesn't have that or didn't have that around him back in 2018, 2017, whenever he started.
When he was in the shitty ass Williams team that had no
Yeah.
resources, and then got put into
And
Racing Point that was rebuilding with no resources after having no money.
And the only reason he was third is because he was being chased by the fucking god level Mercedes of Bottas.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
He
gonna
could have
be
been
fascinating.
second that fucking race.
Yep.
He got pipped to the
Yeah,
line.
he got DRS'd by
Yeah.
again the top car that had already been dominant for 2 years. It's gonna be fascinating what
Yeah.
the overall career outlook will be. But
Absolutely.
that'll be an off season for at the very least his career to this point, and like off season way down the line.
Yes.
Whenever he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it will be fascinating.
I think what's fascinating also for this Montreal race is that McLaren crash.
You mean Lando doing his best Jensen Button impression?
Yes. But you know what the biggest difference
The
is
exact same thing.
in that, though?
What?
Lando immediately said, fuck, that was my bad.
Yeah, because
That-
it was.
Yeah, he
That
did.
is. But that is incredible. How many drivers wreck and be like, he pushed me off?
Yeah.
Yep. No, Lando. It was a moment of maturity for him, for sure. To admit that was completely his fault. I mean,
I
honestly,
understand.
though,
I understand exactly what he was doing. Like, he was hoping that Piastri dives for the right side to take the line to the corner, and he just never did. He held it, and
Yep.
Lando mistimed the run.
Yep.
And honestly, it could have been disastrous if he took both cars out, but thankfully for McLaren, Piastri kept going.
Yeah, he didn't cut a tire or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, it could have been much, much, much worse if both cars DNF'd in that. But yeah, it was good to see that he took responsibility for it right away.
Yeah. And again, you just don't really see that. And I also feel like in him saying that, that's also in his moment conceding the championship.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like it's still. So what's the point total?
We talked
198
about
to
this though, like
176.
coming out of Montreal is going to be interesting to see where the championship sits.
Yep. So it's 22 points.
The DNF for Lando, that's huge.
Yep. But at the same time, I don't think it's quite to the point where we can say that. Well, it's what, round 10 of 23.
Okay.
So we're halfway.
46%.
Yeah. So like all it takes is one engine blow up somewhere for Piastri
Sure.
and Lando scoring even just third, and it's like okay, well we can't prioritize the guy, but like yeah, at the same time, what are the odds that's going to happen?
Exactly.
Probably not
Yeah.
great.
Exactly. And the other thing too is if you're McLaren, right? When are you making that decision of who you're going to prioritize for the drivers' championship? At this point, I think, like especially with the incident with Lando, I think it's safely now the choice is Piastri. It's
Yeah.
clearly the choice is Piastri.
Yeah, until an incident occurs where either Max. So what's the total point difference? So Max is at 155, George is at 136.
It's tight.
Like yeah, like and so say where did I put the full schedule here? So you get the European legs coming up with Austria, Silverstone, Spa. Like I don't know. I think you prioritize Piastri until you don't get, or you get that incident where it tightens up and it's like, okay, we got to make sure one of our guys wins the championship versus this is the guy that's winning the championship. But like, again, it's such a long way to go.
Yeah, but
I don't
Piastri
think
has
you can-
proven the entire time he's the number one guy. He's
Yes.
earned the priority. You shouldn't be doing this. And Lando wrecking and Lando being like, yeah, my bad. That was my mistake. Didn't go, hey, he pushed me out, he did this. He immediately owned it. And you know what? That's also, I think, knowing your beat this year.
Yeah. I mean, for this year too. And like, you do also wonder, you know, in the past, Lando doesn't necessarily deal with high pressure situations very well. So you wonder, sometimes you wonder, is this going to affect his confidence level for the rest of the season?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But it's not like Lando is the coolest cucumber in the paddock.
Yeah. What I thought was really bullshit about that whole McLaren incident, Lando gets a penalty, no penalty points.
Yeah, that's a little odd.
No, that's
Yeah.
that's bullshit. That's total favoritism to a British driver for binning his car in a dangerous manner. Meanwhile, Gasly tries a dumb move on Stroll and says, "Oh, Stroll pushed me off." Stroll gets 3 penalty points. What? Like,
Yeah, that's a
that
good
really
point.
pissed me off. Or like, I thought what Lando did compared to what Stroll did. Stroll did exactly what Piastri did, just one corner earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Just, you're kind of, you know, you're not moving in reaction. You're just kind of holding your line. And if a guy stuffs it in the inside or on the outside and your back tire hits his front tire, whose fault is that?
Yeah.
And like,
Or
when I see
back
those
to
penalties,
Spain.
but when I see those penalties, I think like, okay, what the fuck is F1 doing? Or just when it comes to penalties, because there's obviously favoritism. And I think also for Stroll, it's like, well, it's Stroll, so let's give him a penalty.
Fans
Yeah.
won't care. We aren't going to get lit up about this.
No, exactly. And it's also, you know, maybe because it's in Canada, they have to, oh, we don't want to have favoritism for our guys, so let's make sure we give a penalty to him.
Yeah, I was going to say, you think back to Spain as well. How many points did Max get? 1?
Right.
Yeah.
I'd say that's much more,
Egregious?
yeah, or intentional, we'll
Yeah.
say. Again, there was the whole argument of whatever, his tires aren't warm, whatever it was. At the same time, it's Max. He knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
So, 3 points was a little hefty for I tried something, it didn't work, or the timing just didn't work out on it.
For something that was honestly a racing incident that allowed both of them to keep going. So, I also wonder if there's some F1 behind the scenes MBS, you know, finger on the scale bullshit going on too. Because we know with this group, they're not below that, right? They will have no problem making it behind the scenes, making calls like that. Yeah. And you can just see by the way they govern the sport. So, unfortunate. All in all, I think Montreal was a very good race, very entertaining. Yeah. Any final thoughts, Montreal?
No, I
Overall,
think that's
good experience.
That's fair.
Can't wait for next year when we're all super cold.
Oh fuck! I'm not doing it next year. No,
oh,
not doing it.
I guess.
You
Oh no.
weenie.
So that will be the one other thing. I like how we talked last week about, is the Canadian GP going to get canceled? Extended for 4 years.
Doesn't mean shit.
It
Hey.
doesn't. At the same time, the fact that it got extended just to be like
Extended
a fuck you.
for until 2035.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was already
10
at like
more
2030 or whatever, wasn't it? Or
Yeah. So
2031.
10 more years of it
maybe,
clashing with the Indy 500. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
well, it's only going to clash with the Indy 500 if they keep it in May. And, why? These balloons.
Hey, stop posing
I
for the
don't get
camera.
it. I think like based on the cycle or whatever, like the way that the weekends work out, it's like once every 4 years that it'll actually clash with the Indy 500.
Boo.
Supposedly.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the clash it had with this year, and that is Le Mans, because I thought Le Mans was a fantastic race. Probably the feel-good story of the week is Robert Kubica winning with Ferrari, which, if you know anything about Kubica's career, him winning Le Mans in a Ferrari is so poetic.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So for anyone unaware, back in the olden days of F1, when he was, I think it was 2011, he was racing for Renault. He had signed for 2012 to race for Ferrari. He wasn't announced yet. But before he did that, he was doing a rally race in the off season, crashed the car, severed his arm, a whole bunch of bullshit, ruined his whole F1 career. Again, he had his comeback. It was fantastic. But he never got to drive for Ferrari. And for him to now win Le Mans, driving Ferrari, to give Ferrari their, I guess, third in a row,
Mm-hmm.
like, fantastic. And the final 2 hours of the race was great. It was the 3 Ferraris versus the 1 Porsche. And honestly, you're like, oh, I wonder who's going to get this. And as much as Kubica, I think, had a great final stint, and he looked just like gassed. He was like leading in the car. He was so exhausted.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he gave it all. And meanwhile, the other 2 Ferraris had some issues, and the Porsche just couldn't catch. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's a really great result. I was so happy to hear the Kubica won. And I was obviously very happy as a Ferrari fan that a Ferrari won. So, yay!
that's fair.
I did see
love.
I did see one meme where it's like Charles Leclerc, a cartoon version of Charles Leclerc, going to paint his Ferrari yellow,
Yes.
just so that way he can get the whatever good vibes are around these Ferraris in endurance.
I mean, they're not blue, so that's a good start. Maybe you could try
Yeah.
that for some good
Maybe.
vibes, Ferrari.
Yeah, blue and white,
Yeah.
not exactly a great color combo. So
Red, white, and blue.
Ferraris should only come in 3 colors: red,
yellow, black.
Mm-hmm.
That is it?
One brain cell.
100%.
Well, yeah.
Out of Le Mans also, the greatest commentary ever in regarding the what was it, the 31 what was it, BMW that or was it 41, the BMW that hit the rabbit,
Oh yeah, it was so funny.
and it gave us the great midnight commentary of Le Mans, because I can't remember who it was. He's like, you think the rabbit's okay? And the other guy was like, I think a rabbit headbutting what was it? A BMW. The BMW wins.
The BMW wins.
Ironically, the BMW did not win either, because that hitting a rabbit DNF'd the BMW.
Pour one out for the rabbit.
No, that rabbit took one for the team. Fuck the BMW. That is fantastic.
Oh,
Definitely wasn't an agent of the other teams for sure.
it wasn't paid.
But when does a rabbit take out a whole car? Like, that's the crazy part. I think people are missing the story, is that no, the rabbit actually DNF'd the car.
That would have been a beefy rabbit. Like, when you think about it, it must have been a pretty big rabbit.
It's just
Was
What are the
it-
French rabbits eating?
It's actually just Bugs Bunny on the straight. It's a big, tall, human-sized rabbit just getting smoked.
No,
Oh
it's
my
not. It's not
gosh.
just Bugs Bunny. It's Big Chungus. Bugs
Oh,
Bunny.
big chunk is Bugs Bunny just getting splattered. So anyway, it was a great weekend for wildlife.
Oh yeah, the wildlife really thrived.
Yeah,
this
you know,
weekend.
again, seagulls apparently, groundhogs, rabbits.
Seagulls, the
so,
groundhogs,
you know,
wascally wabbits.
the wascally wabbits. Yes. Beware of the wildlife, I guess.
Yeah.
Just,
I was gonna say, if we're doing the comedy angle, did you guys also see the typical midnight shenanigans where I can't remember which garage it was? The one guy like just started wiping something over a teammate's visor,
Yes.
and thinking he was asleep, and the guy just goes,
Yep.
just flips him off.
that
Yeah.
would be me and you, Steven.
Yes,
That would be
100%.
me
100%.
trying to fuck with Steven. Steven just being like, "I'm still here, asshole."
I'm still awake. I know the stint ends in
Yeah.
20 minutes. I'm just lying here.
That was.
I
funny.
always, it's always so much fun.
Le Mans is some of the
midnight stuff.
best entertainment.
No, just honestly, just any stuff. But yes, for some reason, especially Le Mans. Wasn't Le Mans also the? Remember, kids,
Heroin.
if your parents is at 2 a.m.
Yep,
If
that's
your parents say you can't have cake, heroin. No.
No.
I think I have that on the what's it called? The soundboard on Discord.
Oh.
Nice.
Yes. So I have no idea how to access that right now, but we can always do the heroin.
Oh, yeah. At 2 a.m.
know.
in France.
Le Mans is so much fun, and I do love the memes where it's every year. So it's like just lights in the dark, and someone's like, "Ah, thrilling." But it is. But it honestly is. If you're watching them all, it is hilarious and one of the best races of the year. I got to get to it one of these years. That's a bucket list one for sure.
Yep.
Well, I think the 100th or whatever, like the 100th running, there's been discussion. We all want to go. So
the marshalling
gotta make
contingent?
it happen.
Okay.
The marshalling contingent wants to go. I mean, Peter wants to marshal the race, but
I'd
we'll
do it.
plan a trip.
That'd be fun.
You
Yeah.
gotta do it. It would be so iconic.
It's
The 100th running.
7 years from now.
Yep. So we got time. Everybody start saving pennies. We don't have pennies anymore, so start saving nickels.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, what else do we have from Le Mans? So the Ferraris.
Other
won.
Ferrari? The other Ferrari disqualified.
Oh, yep, the one got disqualified for having.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was just missing some bolts on its rear wing that they noticed.
Wow.
They just didn't bother to fix it, and it cost them.
Which is
it had them fail the flexibility test.
Well, so I was reading the specs, and I think so. Here's how bad it got. The rear wing was at 52 millimeters of deflection, when the maximum allowed is 15. So
Yeah.
they were well outside of tolerance.
Ooh,
Yeah, because they
Wow.
just didn't bother to fix the rear wing.
that's such a costly decision.
Yeah.
So, say any other hypercar stuff? You had Porsche, Ferrari, 2-3.
Aston Martin finish. I think that was impressive.
Just getting there at this point.
Honestly, Cadillac still cursed. Like they just do not do well. It seems. I mean, they finished fourth. The one car, one of the cars was like barely got halfway through the race. Two of their cars struggled. BMW, despite having really good, I would say, qualifying pace, died off in the race. They didn't even hit a rabbit. Yeah, I think Aston Martin showed a lot better than they did beginning of the year. If you think of where that car was for Sebring when it debuted with IMSA and how far off the pace it was there, I think they had a pretty good showing. Only 4 laps back from the leader. You know, that's not terrible.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and if you're within a couple laps, typically in a 24-hour race, you take it. Like, so much can happen. So this came down to 30 seconds between the top 3. That's amazing
Yes.
to have that small of a differential.
Yeah.
So, yeah, being within a couple laps, never a bad thing.
LMP2 side, Inter Europol won that one.
Spike.
Got third. But the fascinating thing with that in the last hour was Inter Europol got a penalty. So Inter Europol got a penalty. They got passed by Panis, and then caught them and passed them back, and then almost put a lap on them. I think, or half a lap, which was impressive considering they were running away with it. Basically, got dragged back and still had the pace. So they had a very good finish to that race. And then in the LM GT3s, Porsche beat Ferrari because they had Ferrari beating Porsche in Hypercar. This time you had Porsche beating Ferrari with the Corvette coming in third. So LM GT3 is fascinating because you have 3 different manufacturers. 5 different manufacturers in the top 5.
Parity.
Yeah. Also, shout out to AWA for top 10 finish in that class. Rocking the Canadian car. Because, gotta always shout out the Canadian car.
Yep.
And yes, it was the 31 car, by the way, that got taken out by the rabbit.
Rough.
They gotta put a rabbit in the car for next year. They have to.
Yeah.
They have to.
Just for the vibes. And also, I see. So, because I was going to say, AO Racing was posting that they won Le Mans. They won the Pro-Am class.
They won
That's
Pro-Am,
why.
yes.
Because I was like, I thought I could have sworn I saw it. But yeah, okay. third overall, but first Pro-Am, which is still good.
Yes. Yeah, because LMP2 is split with like Pro and Pro-Am. But like it's still the 3 classes also. But anyway, it was a fun race. I'm very happy I caught as much of that as I could.
Good old I always forget how rough the WEX schedule is in terms of back to back to back. Because isn't Nürburgring this weekend?
Yes.
Oh.
24 hours, and then there's another one and another one. We got 6 hours at the Glen.
Yep, that's another one for this week.
Yep.
Back for IMSA.
June is wild for the endurance stuff.
Yes.
Sports car racing, yay!
Best racing in the world right now, so no surprise. What else do you want to talk about? Come on, should be something. Stephen.
IndyCar, NASCAR. You want to You want to go stateside or a little further south than that?
Shoot, Steven.
Okay, let's do IndyCar.
Okay.
Because that was my race. That was my race of the week. I loved watching this race.
It was
especially
good.
It was so rather than flipping sort of back and forth between NASCAR and F1, having this as the standalone, I'm glad this was a standalone race. This was a lot of fun. There was you had Newgarden crashing early after putting it on pole. You had Newgarden's flip after hitting Louis Foster.
Dude, Penske in general had a cursed weekend.
Penske was horrible. I said so last week. I think it was me that said Penske's going to have a good weekend because they had a horrible month of May.
Yeah, curse.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, and Newgarden wrecking from the lead.
Yeah.
Rough.
Oof. Yeah, it's a rough one. Like,
well, and
Foster just hitting it and then coming right across, like, freak accident.
Yeah. It's like, you can't do anything. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because it was such a shock too, like in terms of the broadcasting standpoint of
funny.
They had the camera somewhere else, getting ready to cut to commercial.
They
and
cut
all of a
to
sudden,
commercial.
Really, yours cut to commercial?
No, yeah. So what happened was on mine, it cut to commercial. Well, it didn't cut to commercial. It cut to Joseph Newgarden, like his outro shit, because like he's leading the race, so. They do all and then like back to and then it cuts to his car upside down, skidding along the wall, and you're like, what just happened?
We're staying on. We're gonna get a commercial break anyways. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a wild crash. I was watching it with my dad, and we're sitting there like, what is happening? Why is the race leader upside down?
Yeah, you do not see wrecks like that on short ovals. Like that was
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad.
But again, everyone was okay. Which is a testament to the safety of the sport, as always.
I was gonna say the big shout out to the safety crew too. Well, one big shout out to the Halo, because I would not want to have my head that close to.
Not every time.
The roll bar was there anyway. It's fine.
Whatever. I still think you're a little bit closer. Anyways, did you see the marshal? Or the safety team guy, just right over as cars are still like on the still slowing down going past. He was out there, I think they said in about 2.5 seconds.
It's like 2.8.
Yeah.
Wow.
So here's my thoughts on that. Okay. Back in the day, I would have thought, wow, what a hero. Do the marshalling shit, doing safety shit. You're putting yourself in fucking danger for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you are jumping onto a live track where you can now potentially be a victim as well. Mm-hmm. Just to be the first guy under there?
Now you have the other side of the perspective where you're just like, no. It honestly, like, to me, that sounds like a break in protocol because most of the time you're told to go, right? Like, it's not... You just do it.
I'm pretty sure he sprinted over from the pit wall and just jumped the barrier and just got under there. Like,
wow,
it was fast.
Okay, interesting.
But yeah, like he got there.
Why?
Exactly. I'm like, okay, like that's a live track. The cars are still coming. The yellows just come out.
Yeah.
The crash site's still behind you. Like they're coming towards you. Like anyway. But yeah, hero, right, Steven? Yeah, he's a hero.
Something like
Hero.
that. Or a little bit nuts.
Nuts.
Listen,
we'll go with nuts.
I understand when talking to the marshals and stuff at CTMP when IMSA comes or like when any of the top series and like we hate or for IndyCar like we hate the AMR guys. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it now. They're fucking assholes and they do stupid shit.
They're just dumb.
Yeah.
The brain cells? We're not sure. Sometimes they have them. Sometimes they don't.
And like that's a controversial opinion because like everyone loves the AMR team. They do such great work making sure everyone's okay, but they just put themselves in stupid fucking situations.
Yeah, and I honestly though, like sometimes there's nothing funnier than watching the team also like very visibly not understand how to hook up a car to the tow truck. That's always funny.
To be fair, watching them hand flip Newgarden's car was kind of sick.
The fact that there was like 7 guys
fun.
and they're like, yeah, that's 1,800 pounds coming down on those 7 guys right now.
But it was
like,
gentle. Like they actually gently brought it down.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not a math guy, but it seemed I would think you would want at least like maybe 2 or 3 more guys to hold that up.
Yeah.
Well, right.
But-
well, good for them.
Yeah.
For doing that.
So, but in the end of the race, you had Kyle Kirkwood winning. So again, we only have 2 winners.
Yep.
Yep. Wow.
Kirkwood could make a charge at the championship at this rate. Like,
Well, so him and Pato are still. Where was it? So Palou is obviously your leader because he's been so damn dominant with 5 wins. Kirkwood has 3 wins, and he's still 3rd. Or no, sorry, hang on. Hang on. No, he is still 3rd.
Really?
Pato is 73 points back. Kirkwood is 75, which I think is a testament to how strong Pato has been.
Yeah.
Despite not winning a race, he's got 4 top 5s, 6 top 10s.
Okay, fair enough. Go Pato.
Yep. So, like, he's in it more or less, but he's definitely not like those. It's going to be one of those 3 guys, most likely Palou. We can always hope for someone else. Keep taking out Palou just to make it interesting. And like Pato had a chance to win this one too. Like he looked good. Like Daly
had a chance.
This is what made it interesting is that there was lots of guys that had something slightly different happen. They had a chance. Islet looked really good for a little bit. Dixon looked good for a bit. Christian Rasmussen, I don't think he had a chance to win it because he took he took the penalty on the drive-through. His car was on fire at one point, but he had the best car on the day, I think, considering he was back in the field twice, worked his way through, and still finished 3rd for his first podium. So congrats, Christian. Great
race for him.
Ferrucci was top 5. Daly had a good chance. Renus VK with another top 10. Malukas, not so much at the end, but he looked really strong at the start, and he led 67 laps, and he went 4th. He went 4th to 1st on the first lap.
Yes. But around the outside, it looked great.
Yeah, his car looked strong. This is why I think this was the best race of the weekend. There was lots of guys that could have.
It was the most unpredictable. You had no idea who was going to win. Guys had to really work for it. It was fun.
Yeah.
I think coming out of this race, and a lot of talk on the IndyCar side of thing is on Nolan Siegel and his radio outburst.
His like rage quit, basically.
Yeah.
Telling the Penskes to fuck off.
What are your takes on that?
Well, I read something interesting about it today. Basically, like a lot of people are questioning Mclaren's management of things like this. Because isn't like TK and McLaughlin like having a beef right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because TK made a comment of McLaughlin punting Siegel, I think, last week.
Right. So is this like, so are the tensions in the entire McLaren team? And like, they're just not going to do anything about this outburst? Because like, that's a pretty like...
Well, didn't they make him have like a statement basically apologizing for the outburst?
The team did.
Yes.
I don't think he did. The team did.
Quite frankly, fuck that. Steven can attest to this. Me and Men's League Hockey this year has said way worse shit to refs.
I'm sure you have.
I've gone off. And like, that's just, okay, maybe it was borderline abusive for me. But in sports, when you're talking to your team and you're pissed off, if we put a mic on every single pro athlete out there, oh my God, the shit you would hear.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah,
just wrapped up.
You cannot just be like, oh, because you heard this one, oh, how terrible clutch pearls.
Yeah.
No. You just gotta be like, this guy's pissed. He's caught on a hot mic. Don't know why you had to release that audio, guys, but you did.
Yeah.
And just let him go off. Honestly, if you're pissed off at a call, you can be pissed off at a call. If you disagree, you can disagree. He still served it. Not like he refused it, but he was mad about doing it. It's like me in hockey, right? I take a penalty I think is bullshit. I'm going to serve it. I'm going to give you an earful of why I think you're calling. You're fucking... Everything about you is terrible. And how I think you should do with a stick later in the parking lot. However... I will still serve it. And again, he served the penalty. It's not like he threw a tantrum, not like he tried to wreck guys. He was just pissed off on the radio to his team. There is nothing wrong with that. He's not bitching to the media. He's not going off. He's talking to his team.
It's not like they're subject to FIA penalties or whatever, the same way that the F1 drivers are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's only a $10,000 fine for him because, FIA considers IndyCar like F4 lowest level.
Listen, everything under FIA still counts for the swearing. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
That's why in the rally, they just don't answer.
No, I know. Anyways.
But yes.
That's going to be one to watch. So we got Road America this week. I'm curious to see if he gets close to any Penske's, particularly McLaughlin, at some point. It'd be very funny too.
It would be.
I really hope he starts next to McLaughlin and somehow. Very unlikely. Be very funny.
Given Penske's season this year, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So we'll see. Just quickly before we move on, this is interesting from Adam Stern on Twitter. Fox Sports got 1.012 million viewers for the IndyCar race, up from 537,000 last year. So they almost doubled their viewership from
That's incredible.
USA. Yeah, so it was on USA Network on Saturday last year. So that's fantastic for IndyCar.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, so the other thing is, so viewership wise, NASCAR was a 2.1, Formula One was a 1.9, and IndyCar was third this week, where usually they're like battling for fourth or fifth with Xfinity. So
that's pretty good for them. That's why you're with Fox. You wanted to get the bigger numbers. The bigger numbers means you can get more money in other deals.
You were with Fox and you ran a little bit off schedule where there was zero overlap.
Yeah.
Too. So that's the big thing.
Yeah.
So encouraging to see if you're an IndyCar fan.
Very true. Final thing for this weekend, I would say, would be NASCAR in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Or as Carson Hosfar calls it. Never mind.
Yeah, don't say it.
Oh no.
Oh, we'll get to that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
we'll say it. We'll get there. He got a nice $50,000 fine for what he said, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
First,
and sensitivity training.
Yes. The race itself.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I think SVG put on a clinic. It is the largest margin of victory in how many years? Do you remember, Steven? It's big.
Where it wasn't like a fuel save. I think they said it was the largest one since like the 90s or maybe even like late 80s.
Yeah.
It's been, and
that's
for
a
like
great race for him.
Largest margin of victory regardless was like 2009 or something.
Mm-hmm.
it's been a while, regardless.
Wow.
Yeah, he whipped them.
Good for him.
Generally, what'd you think of this NASCAR at Mexico? What would you rate the race itself? For me, it was kind of a meh.
I was gonna go with like a 6. Like
That's
it's
exactly
good.
what I was thinking. Like a
It was
6.
it was cool. It's cool because like SVG's been like, oh, he's gonna win road races,
Yep.
and dominate these. He's gonna be the guy. No one can touch him. And it's been like kind of mad, but at the same time, I was like, he doesn't race full time. He's only been here for a year. Give him some time. And it's like this was what we wanted to see out of SVG this entire time. So it was fun to see him actually dominate. Which, like, yeah, no one really had anything for him. Ty Gibbs might have been the only guy that had a car that could have kept up. And what happened to him? He had like a bad pit stop or something.
I think so, yeah. Which is weird
So-
to say. Ty Gibbs had a good weekend because he's been questionable.
His
Not great.
form lately has been all right. Like,
He'll get a win by the end of the year. I trust you.
Yeah.
Trust me, he'll get a win.
Okay. Yeah, but that's the other thing is that you get a winner that was like, I don't know, late 20s, early 30s in terms of overall standing. So just
he
mixes
was
up
in
the,
like 31st, I think, in points, and people are
Yeah.
pissed.
I mean, we're not going to relitigate our thoughts on it.
I find it
is what
fascinating.
is.
The old guard is now coming out. Like I think Mark Martin was coming out being like, "This is stupid." Like I think Richard Petty came out and was saying like, "This is stupid." Like a lot of the old classic NASCAR figures are finally just being like this is a dumb playoff format. This is a dumb way to decide championships. Figure it out.
Yep, you shouldn't be able to throw specialists in to win one race and then they get to race for a playoff where they're realistically going to be booted in the first round because the only reason they make it is because they win one and they're so far back and so handicapped points wise that they're screwed, barring a win, which
say
realistically
that.
probably not going to happen.
Yes, but if you look at the playoff format, isn't there a road course in every single one?
There are a lot of road courses. So round of 16.
Round of 16 there isn't, but again, if you have a couple good
No.
finishes or some guys wreck out, you can sneak by. Then you have Roval. Okay, you can get through there. He could make it to the round of 8 realistically.
Yep. Round of 8 is where he would struggle.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so
God,
Roval,
we have Pocono this
and
week,
that's
then you got
it.
the stupid in-season challenge. What is that?
Is this a new thing?
Yes, NASCAR is gimmicking. They made an in-season challenge, not this weekend, starting the next week. It's supposed to be like the NBA's in-season tournament bullshit.
Yeah.
You already have an in-season tournament. You call it the regular season. Like, this is, oh, fucking Christ, NASCAR.
I'm confused. Why do we need this? Why
We
are
don't.
we doing this?
There is no reason.
Oh,
Gimmicks,
Okay.
gimmicks.
I hate this. Is why I don't enjoy NASCAR sometimes because they're adding too much.
Yes. Let's hope they get sued to fuck and they can fix their shit. That'd be great. Thank you.
Let's hope.
2311.
Let's hope.
Anyway, yeah, Carson Hocevar. So
Yeah, what happened? Because like obviously did not pay attention to much outside of like Formula One.
was it the Friday or the
Lamar.
Saturday he was Twitch streaming and he called Mexico City a shithole?
It was Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or no,
Oh my god.
maybe it was Friday. Either
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty bad.
Yeah, he called it a shithole, was like, why the fuck are we going here? I'm not going to feel safe, blah, blah, blah.
Like this was after he just arrived and then basically was in his trailer and just doing this and like just doing like sim racing. I think it was the Friday maybe because like
Wow.
he made it. He put
Wow.
a statement out. I think it was the Sunday afternoon, being like, "I was wrong. This was actually great. I'm sorry for anything I said negatively about this." That's like, honestly, he made a really good statement apologizing for it on Sunday.
And he also, so there was also people being like, oh, you don't need to apologize. And he was like, no, I do need to apologize.
Yeah.
I thank you for the support, but at the same time, no, I fucked up.
Yeah. And the team fined him $50,000 for that.
Yeah. And he has to do sensitivity training.
Well, I mean, like, the accountability is there, taking responsibility, like, that's good.
Honestly, I'm shocked at that. And, like, for host of our, I was like, you know what? I kind of... Yeah, you kind of lose respect for calling it a shithole, but also owning your mistake and being like, damn, this was actually a good event and it was kind of fun.
Yeah. It's one thing to, like, say something like that and then have to, like, kind of double back when the backlash happens. And it's like, okay, I got to apologize because the team is making me. But it's another to say, you know what? I was wrong. Like, this was actually a really good race. I shouldn't have said what I said. Like, there's, like, the forced accountability versus, like, the genuine accountability.
Well, also,
So
I didn't
like,
even know of these comments until I saw his apology.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, he did what now? And then you go back and be like, oh, he called it a shithole. Okay, now he's, like, apologizing for it after. But, like, I think the fact that he apologized got it way more attention.
Yeah.
Than the original comment. Because before, again, it's an offhand throwaway comment of just being, like, unhappy to be here. I get it. But and then for the team to also be like, yeah, we got to do something. Here's a fine. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then other than that, he also wrecked Stenhouse again, which was hilarious.
Oh boy.
He has to do that for the laws at this point.
Yeah. The amount of people that were like, you know what's going to happen in Pocono is Ricky's going to show up wearing the same camo cargo pants that he fought Kyle Busch in after the All-Star race. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
that's
this week,
gonna be a fun rivalry.
What do we got for this week? Like you said, we got 24 hour Nürburgring. Isn't Max doing that?
Is he?
Like Verstappen? Wasn't that why he was doing it before? Like, isn't he doing that race?
Oh, he did the sim one, and didn't his team just get disqualified?
Yeah, but remember how he was testing under like the fucking
Franz Herman
or something? Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought he was doing that this weekend.
Interesting. I don't know. Would Red Bull let him risk himself doing that?
Yeah, why not?
Well, he wants to, is the point, and I think, when Max wants to do it, they just let him do it.
They say, okay.
When you've scored 400 something points and the rest of your team, however many drivers it is, have scored like 60, you can do what you want.
I guess. Very true.
So Nürburgring's this weekend, 6 hours at the Glen for your sports car fans. Indycar. Is there Indycar this weekend? Oh, yeah, Road America. And NASCAR's at Pocono.
Yep.
And just to continue with the animal trend.
No.
Do you think a fox gets hit at Pocono this week?
Oh, I hope not.
No, probably not.
Again, they are known for the foxes, just saying.
Foxes are a little bit smarter.
Your journeys. Stay in your den.
Listen, nothing makes me more sad than the cat that got hit in NASCAR a couple years ago. Mostly because there's a photo of it and the cat right before it gets hit running on the track and the thing just looks scared as hell. I'm like, I feel so bad for the cat. So
that's so sad.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, that wonderful note. Yeah. Anything else to talk about this week, or is that kind of all we got? You got anything?
I think that's it this week.
Fair enough. Last question to Taylor. Back to your Canadian Grand Prix. Favorite race of the weekend?
Yeah, I think the feature race, because, again,
F1?
I was in a really, really cool spot. So that was fantastic.
That is fair.
However, I will say my second favorite race was probably F1 Academy race 3.
Is that the one where they all took each other out?
Yep. Or race 1 when Dorian pin one, which was lovely.
That's right. I think
Love
race
her.
2 was the worst one for the Canadians because that's when Nicole Haverda, the Canadian,
Yeah.
wrecked out of the second one. So we don't acknowledge that one, but 1 and 3, yeah, that was good.
One and
Better
three,
for her. Yeah.
No, 3 was fun because I got to actually wave a flag, which was nice because I didn't do a lot of waving over the weekend. That was nice.
That's fair. But you got to breathe in the same air as Leclerc, so you're a psycho. And on that note, thank you very much for listening to this week's episode. We'll be back next week to talk all things motorsports. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Spare Parts Racing Podcast. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and follow the show on Twitter at Spare Parts Racing. That's Spare Parts RACIN, and on TikTok at Spare Parts Pod. Follow the hosts at Sean Chavarella, at Stephen Clary, and at Tay Moore.